is Ayurveda, but I'm incorporating both Ayurveda and energy on a level of experience. Now we all know when we go through the theory we study, most of the time when we apply it in real life, we are hit with so many different circumstances that the theory sometimes doesn't apply as clear-faced as it is when we study it. Likewise, with Ayurveda and working with energy, what worked thousands of years ago in the theory that is laid out is different in time, circumstance, today, and therefore the application is a little bit more different. Ayurveda is still, and I can stand testament to the fact, one of the most unique and definitely effective methods of self-healing, natural medication, and to an extent natural enlightenment. When I mean natural enlightenment, Ayurveda doesn't only work with the herbs, but it also works with our self-discipline. It works with the body. It works with meditation and with pranayama. So when you go out to a spice emporium or to any shop that sells Ayurvedic products, just buying the product is one thing. Taking the tablets is one thing. But for it to work effectively, it comes with a whole other discipline altogether for it to be effective. Now, Ayurveda is found mainly in sections of the Atharva Veda. And these are the mantras describing the different herbs and their uses. In fact, last night, when I was preparing the Vedvani, I went through several mantras speaking about different cancers and different plants that aid in the treatment of different cancers. Now, as easy as it may sound, and people may think, yeah, I can recite this mantra and it'll cure me from cancer. It doesn't just work like that. Taking the herb, reciting the mantra, not just by understanding its meaning, but actually pronouncing it in a true Brahmanic form that creates the vibration, as well as doing the respective pranayams and changing lifestyle, then you're heading towards actually helping in the treatment of different cancers. So Ayurveda doesn't only work with the herb, it works with the herbs, it works with yoga, pranayam, meditation, mantra, and lifestyle. If you want Ayurveda to work, these are the elements that you've got to focus on. Now the body, as you know, besides being physical, is a network of neurons, a network of nerves, and a network of energy systems known as nadis. That's your energy field. Right? Now what I'm going to explain to you again, I'm not going to break down the word from a Sanskrit perspective. I'm going to speak to you strictly on experience. Right? The body, beside the physical picture of the body, so you have your normal physiological diagram of the body, the arteries, and so on and so forth. Take a picture of that and mirror that aside, you have an energy network of the body. And that energy network is full of ebbs and flows of these nadis, which get your electromagnetic system working, which is where the consciousness moves, which is what the prana enlivens throughout the body. So when we meditate, when we do pranayama, when we do yoga, we are activating the body's nadi system, which then has the effect on the physiological system. Unless your nadi system and the energy sphincter of the body is optimum, you're going to be riddled with disease. Now disease, if we break that word, dis-ease, that's all it is. It's a disease, it's an imbalance. This body, you look at plants in nature. If you break a plant, it heals itself, the leaf grows back, it grows up from another direction. There are so many examples in nature of self-healing. comes to the human body, we have the most effective means of that self-healing, because not only is it natural, we can also cause certain elements of that healing based on what the Vedas teach us and based on these practices. The problem is, in this current lifestyle we're living, and with the conflict of the mind, we become the least regenerative species. We become a dependent species rather than an independent species. And we become so fixated on the world of duality and what is on the outside that our journey within and our inner self-healing has prevented us from being the most optimum spiritual entity there is. Our next point of evolution from this physical form, that is why this phase of life always leads to, or should lead to, spirituality. When we read Vedas, the ultimate essence is moksha. Spirituality, if we break that word up, it's spirit. Does spirit have a form? No. So therefore we need to move from the physical to the metaphysical, or to the spirit form. But in order for us to move to that dimension, our energy needs to be light. Our energy needs to be optimal. Like a balloon, let's just say a balloon is heading towards space. You tie a rock to that balloon, then you tie a boulder to that balloon, it's heavier and heavier eventually. But if you cut those pieces out, the balloon rises. Likewise within the body, when we have blockages, those blockages prevent the nadis from working optimally, and therefore that mirrors onto the physiology of the body, and the body becomes heavy. The body becomes more prone to disease, more prone to illness and sickness. And also with the lifestyle that we live in today and the type of environment that we're living in, with all the pollution, with all the tension, with all the stress, you think of health as it was today. Yes, our forefathers had illnesses in the past, but it wasn't as riddled as it was today, because the type of food we eat, genetically modified food, the type of junk food we are eating today, our diets, what we drink, the lifestyle we lead, the tensions that we have at work, all of this adds up. But it doesn't mean that you write this off. It means that you're going to try other methods and be more disciplined for an ancient health system to work for you. And the first thing is change of lifestyle and change of mindset. If you don't change your mindset and you don't change your lifestyle, no matter what you take, no matter how much of pranayama you do, no matter how much of yoga you do, it is not going to make any difference. It cancels itself out. You plus on the one end, and during the day you minusing on the other. What is the difference? Zero. Discipline and commitment and dedication allows Ayurveda to work optimally. The mind, as much as you might not consciously think, works like clockwork. You see that clock? We don't have a clock here, but from 1 to 12, our body is designed to run, not designed, has now been prone to run according to that clockwork system. Before it used to work according to the clock of nature, now it runs according to the clock of time. Why? Because we live our lives according to. We don't live our lives according to nature, we live our lives according to this clock. And therefore, discipline must now regulate according to that clock. Now, mind doesn't run according to our clock. We do something now at this time, tomorrow we're doing it at a different time. Today we eat at 1 o'clock, tomorrow at 11:30. It all depends on how we feel, what we're doing. So the body already, besides not working anymore according to nature and is now working according to the clock, it's confused even further. And therefore, it now works in relation to the mind, the clock of the mind. Now when we work according to our clock from 1 to 12, if we're doing anything that's healing in nature, we need to discipline our body so that it reacts in that disciplined format. If we're doing something between 12 to 1 every single day, it needs to work according to that same discipline and same time, 12 to 1. The body becomes systematic, and the body starts working according to that system. The reason I'm saying that is, let's say you start taking herbs. whether it's triphala to work on your digestive system. If you're taking triphala, early in the morning, 6 o'clock when you wake up, you make sure every day at 6 o'clock you take the triphala herb. Because then your body starts releasing those chemicals to work with those herbs at a disciplined time. Most importantly, on an empty stomach. Why? You don't have the interference of food that is received with different energy, food that is genetically modified, junk food. It works just with what the body itself can produce. That is why it's most optimum to take any Ayurvedic medication early in the morning on an empty stomach. There's certain that you take with food, but that is dependent. Then, because your body does not work as a cold room or as a cold system, you take it with warm water, certain you take with warm milk. The warmth activates the digestive fire. It allows your body to digest the herbs, to absorb the nutrients of the herbs, and to be more effective in the body. When you're drinking something with cold water, even as humans, we're not supposed to be drinking anything cold because we disturb and destroy that digestive fire. And by digestive fire, I mean in order for your food to digest and for your nutrients to be absorbed, there needs to be heat. Remember, when we were created, we weren't created in anything cold. We were created as a result of that Agni. That is why the first mantra of the Rig Veda begins with Agni, fire, heat, energy. Energy is heat. It's heat that creates as well as destroys. When you have inflammation, what do you use to cool down the inflammation? Heat. So therefore, we need to keep that digestive fire alive. So when we have herbs, we'll drink it with hot water. After you consume the herbs, it's best to do yoga. Why? Because yoga starts opening the channels of the Nadi system to start working with the ingredients of those herbs, with the chemicals, the natural chemicals and containments of those herbs, so that it's distributed promptly and efficiently throughout the body. Question? Oh. So yoga helps us open the physical Nadi systems. After you perform yoga, and obviously depending on the ailment you have, there's a difference between general wellness and there's a difference between specific illnesses that you may have. There are specific yogic exercises that focus on those nadis for the digestion, for back pain, problems with the eyes, problems with the brain, any part of the body. From yoga, you move to pranayama, which is control of the breath. Breathing is so important with self-healing, because what is prana? The life force of the body. It's not your mere breath, it's not the air that you take in, it's your life force that's contained within the air, that keeps you alive, that keeps you existing, that allows your cells to regenerate, because all these three don't only work for the body and to cure the ailment. It goes to the root of the problem and regenerates the cells. That is why Ayurveda won't work overnight like your pharmaceutical medications, because they work on removing the results or the resultant of the cause. It doesn't destroy the cause. And because Ayurveda works on the cause, much less on the symptoms, it takes longer. Minimum is 3 months. The minimum course of Ayurveda is 3 months. But why? Once it goes to the root of the problem and clears those nadis, you are, don't quote me, technically cured of that illness. Why? Because the cells are regenerated. Now just a little disclaimer. Remember, whatever I'm telling you, please, whatever you're suffering with at the moment, do it in consultation with your medical practitioner. That's important, right? All of these medication you have as supportive treatments, but just make note that you do it in consultation with your medical So, minimum 3 months because it works to the root of your problem. Once you get to the root of your problem, and it unroots it out and kills whatever is left or whatever bacteria is left, then your whole lifestyle changes. I'll give you a little example. There's one of my sister sannyasis at Paramatmiketa. And I always give the story because it's remarkable, and she's one of many other stories I can give you. She was 4th stage cancer. She had no hope. She dedicated herself to self-heal, yoga, and Ayurveda. Leave the rest. Just yoga and Ayurveda she focused on for 1 year. 10 years later today, she is a sannyasi, completely cured of her cancer, and living the most beautiful life, teaching others the benefits of yoga. So it's possible, it's not impossible. It's dependent on each individual. Each individual is different. But it doesn't mean that you can't make that sacrifice and change your life for the better. I can give you countless cases here in South Africa of people who went through the route of Ayurveda. People who suffer from strokes, paralyzed, whom have had quite effective results as a result of undergoing full Ayurveda treatment, and I mean beyond the herbs. Then, from pranayama, once you learn how to breathe and regulate your breathing so that those elements or that prana gets taken efficiently through the body, through the oxygen cells of the body, you get into meditation. Meditation helps you bring your system to a level of focus and to the center of concentration. Why do you think doctors will always tell you, take medication and go and sleep? Why must you go and sleep? When does healing take place? Healing takes place when the body does not have to focus on other things. When the mind doesn't have to focus on other things in the day-to-day life. It needs to be an optimum rest. So therefore, leading to meditation allows this process to do its job. When it's not focused on tensions or other things. Even walking, the brain has to think, no, I have to get from point A to point B. So giving that energy to the healing process. So you get to a point of rest. Together with meditation, or starting with meditation, is Sanskrit mantras or Vedic mantras. Specifically, mantras orientated around a healing or those herbs. Like for example, yesterday when I read, when I was going through the Ayurveda, and there were those mantras of cancer, for example. Now, as much as each mantra has a meaning, but Vedic Sanskrit, each Sanskrit verse, each mantra has a vibration attached to it. And that vibration is linked to the meaning of the mantra. For example, the Gayatri mantra, when we pray for intellect, literally the vibration of that mantra allows more use of oxygen in the brain to increase our alertness and our ability to absorb information more effectively. So it's not only the meaning behind something. You do it and recite it accurately, you make those vibrations which make the chemical and physical change in the body. So likewise now, mantras that speak of the specific herbs that you take for a specific ailment work on the compounds of those specific herbs. Work on the compounds of the nadis which need to work with those herbs so that they are more effective. So reciting these mantras then create the vibration needed to open up the nadi channels and work with the herbs. And then lastly, lifestyle. What you're going to do for one day, you don't stop after that. You make it a part of your lifestyle. You dedicate yourself, not only for the 3 months. 3 months, right, you take the herbs. But this should continue to keep your body effective and optimal. You've got a machine. No matter how old it may be or how young it may be, the Almighty, in His genius, has created a body that is effective in its 70 age capacity as much as it's effective in its 20 age. Obviously, you will slow down, but you will slow down and still be effective in your capacity. If yogis in the mountains and 90 plus can do yoga, a 20-year-old can't even do, can live in those conditions. He's not a superhuman. He's an ordinary human that has unlocked his true body capacity. If that can be done, can you imagine just a tenth of that? Us, in this ordinary setting, in our ordinary lifestyle, what we can achieve just by putting our hearts, minds, and dedication to it. Watching what you eat. What you put in is certainly what you're going to get out. The reason our healing process is so slow today, how many of us suffer from diabetes and hypertension? It's the biggest thing today. Everywhere I look, diabetic, 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 diabetic. And do you know how diabetes slows down your ability to heal? Tremendously. Now, there's an Ayurvedic alternative to help you with diabetes, but we'll get to that next week hopefully, because I'll deal with specific common ailments. But these are all possible. But we need to ensure that we take the responsibility to watch what we eat, knowing what we're putting into our mouths, and how's it affecting our output. Because it's vital. This is a topic I can spend hours and hours on. But in this short time, I want you to go back and think to yourself. You are this divine creation by the Almighty. You shouldn't be riddled with disease. The responsibility to keep it optimum, to keep it fighting, to keep it at its best, regardless of what's out of your control. Death and all these things, that's not in your control. It's in your control to be healthy, effective, efficient, and to be able to serve with that. Any questions? Okay, so next week, I'll emphasize a little bit more. Think of any questions you may have, and then I'll discuss your main illnesses and how you can overcome them. Basic kitchen ingredients, herbs you can get, and the exercises and techniques and mantras that you can use in the process of self-healing as well.
But the mantras have to be recited in a certain way to
Correct.
get the vibration.
I call it the Brahmanic style because the South Indian Brahmins, they really correctly kept the actual pronunciation of these mantras. Because then you create the vibration.
Yes.
Just reciting it normally is good for the meaning, but not to create the vibration. So I'll even teach you how to, for example, correctly recite the Gayatri mantra to open the oxygen channels in the brain to be able to affect your alertness more better. Right? So you divide the meaning and the vibration. The vibration qualifies the meaning. So whatever is the English meaning of the mantra, it tells you what that vibration is going to do. You know when you go Om Bhama Asyastu? And we just think we know the meaning. You know what it actually does? Recite it correctly. As we touch. Now remember, I must also speak about mudras and the different hand channels. I'll do that next week. You actually enliven each part of the molecules where you are touching, because you create the vibration that connects, and that mantra enlivens those molecules. It allows you to breathe more. It works right to your lungs, for example, with the nostrils. Your eyes, it works in your ocular region. It is amazing what you can experience with just the Havan alone. I mean, one day we'll do something where we actually speak about the science, not only what the science does for the environment, but for the physical body and each of the mantras that we use. And it actually has a charge of it does what it does. You see, learning the theory, you must. But then you must start experiencing it, because then you're putting that theory into practice. Then you have practiced and lived Veda, not just recited it, not just learned it. You must put into practice for self-elevation as well as elevating others. And understanding what impact does it actually make, not just mechanically being done. You must forget about the mechanics. How does it work for you as an individual? How does it work for the others? And how does it work for the environment?
When can we have a class with the correct recitation?
Anytime, I'll see when there's a space available. Even if it's a separate class, I don't mind doing it.
Because I think it will be more effective
In order to then take it to the level that it needs to, you've got to then move to that level. You can't stay at
Exactly.
the trainee level.
Yeah.
Because then you'll find your connection. I mean, I started off there also. I mean, my Yaji course, I was the same. But what I'm speaking to you about now, I didn't even learn it in theory. What I'm speaking to you about, I've experienced it. I feel the energy, I see the energy. And I want you to feel and experience the same. When you're doing that Agnihotra, it's not that you know that this mantra is next. It's an automatic process that just gets you so engaged that you don't even want to talk afterwards because you're just in another realm. That is the feeling you want to come out of the Agnihotra. Right? So we will definitely.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Till next week. Namaste. Thank you.